Hey, we're live.
We are. Boom. What's up, team?
Hey, guys.
What's
I'm
going
jealous.
on?
Brett has my T-shirt that I don't even own myself.
What? How did I get it?
I think you're the only person in the world to have that.
Did you win that?
One of one.
No, it's like it's one of my Patreon things. You have to do 3 months of my Patreon at a certain tier to get the shirt. And Brett is the only one for 3 months. One person signed up for this month. Someone will get it in 2 months' time.
How the guns looking at? Fuck.
That could be me. That could be me. Next T-shirt, that's me.
It could be you if you pay for it.
Yeah.
All right.
Look at that.
What are you
Whoa.
doing over there?
Oh.
You flipping
He
the
zoomed
camera.
in.
Hang on. Take it easy, mate. Take it
You
easy.
got all the tricks over there.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get going here. Hopefully the internet connection's okay all over the world. We got the president of swimming Twitter, Kyle Sockwell, with us. We got Sonny Trigg, the South African swim coach. Sort of. Not anymore. Now he's back in England. So, Sonny, how about you just start this podcast off? Tell us what you've been doing, where you've been, how South African national championships were.
South African nationals were crazy. Like, take every good meet you've ever been at and then forget about it, because these guys just have things differently. First of all, the pool stopped being heated the day before the meet because it has currents. So every day the pool got a degrees cooler. My last day was day 4 of 6 days. Chad raced the 200 fly final in 22.8 degrees water. And it apparently got cooler after I left. So, like, you know, when you see these times, and we'll talk about fast swims in a minute, but you see these times, take them with that grain of salt. That's what's going on. There was other things, like there was at one point, by the way, I was sneaking on the poolside because I'm not a member of South African swimming, so I'm not a coach there. So I was sneaking on the poolside every day.
What?
And at one point, the organisers, they come up to me and they go, "Hey, Sonny, your boy Max is in the 400 free, first event. Yeah. What time do you want him to swim?" I was like, well, you know, it was meant to start at 6 o'clock. It's been delayed an hour to 7 o'clock. It's 6:30. How about he just swims at 7? Yeah, but we can get going a bit earlier. We can start in 15 minutes. It's like, my boy's just got him warming up. Let's start at 7. Okay, let's start at 7. And like, that's what's going on. They're talking to me and asking me what time the meet starts. And then the real kicker is, so I think I sent the news article into to Brett and Nate in our group chat, but there was a dead body found in the pool 3 hours before the heat sessions on the last day. And I mean, that's what we're dealing with here. 3 hours before the heats kicked off, 8 a.m. start, and there was a dead body found in the pool because some people tried to steal a car from the car parking lot, and they went and got revenge because they got chased off by a security guard. And it's very sad. In fact, it's terrible. But
Horrible.
that's kind of what's going on.
Wow.
It's a different world over there. But you know, I got back to the UK Monday, so I've been back about 48 hours now. We're having a little reset, and then we're heading off to Dubai for our next month training camp. And we've still got a lot of South Africans with us, so we're going to have we're obviously going to have Chad. We're going to have a few of the other South Africans that were training with us, and we've got one other kid from South Africa that I think a lot of people know of, but I don't think I can say who it is yet. But he's damn fast, and he's going to be a big deal real soon.
All right,
so work out
we
yourself.
won't say anything.
You're really limiting it.
So other than Chad winning his 13th consecutive 200 butterfly national
crazy, right?
title,
Yeah.
who were the people that were like, "Ooh, that was a good swim," or who was the people that surprised you that we don't know their names?
So, I mean, you do know his name, but Peter Kotze, he qualified for the Olympics last year in the 100 backstroke at 16.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is, I mean, first of all, you meet him and you're like, "Hey, you're 17." And he's like, "Yes." And he's 6'6", freaking chiseled. Chad showed me a picture from 3 years ago nationals, and this kid is like 4'2" and a child, and now he's like towers over everyone. But he's swimming everything. In South Africa, they race everything. Like, they don't like, "Oh, I'm a fly swimmer, I'll just do the 50, 100 fly." They race everything. So he was against Chad in the 50 fly, and then 10 minutes later, he's on the pool again, 53 900 backstroke. And then he led off relay 2 days later against Matt Sates and Chad in the 53, and he schools them, goes 22-1. I'm like, you swim freestyle? I was like, I'll swim 53 now, I guess. 22-1. It's a serious time. It's a serious time.
And then
he gets back in, does the 200 backs time trial, and goes 156.9. So I mean, like, this guy's got 53, 2 back. He come third in the 100 fly behind Chad and Matt. He's a real talented boy, and he's still swimming all the events. And then, I mean, the other big one, and I was going to mention this as my fast swim girl, but Lara Van Niekerk. I literally turn up, first session of the meet, women's heats, and I see this girl go 29.7, 50 breaststroke. She's 17. This pool is, as I said, it's cold. It's not, you can stand up at the other end. It's 1.6 meters, I think, at the shallow end, 1.4 meters. And she goes 29.7. And then she beats Tatiana in the 100 breaststroke, 105.7. Leads from the start to finish. So she was a very special talent. And I think, everyone's going to know her name after Worlds and Commies are done.
Wow.
South African women on that breaststroke. She's not swimming with
No, she's coached by a guy called Eugene. So Rocco coaches Kaylin Corbett and Tatiana. And then Eugene coaches Lara.
Impressive.
Wow.
Well, a little bit of a shock. Well, that's good. Well, glad you had a nice trip, even though you're only going to be home for a little bit. I was talking to Tom Rushton, so I've been actually talking to him a lot because I've been trying to send him some clocks. But looks like they're in Stockholm, and he's not in Stockholm anymore. So I'm going to have to figure out what to do with those clocks. But anyways, Sockwell, what about you? Some just like ridiculous amounts of fast swimming over the weekend. Italian championships, British trials, Canadian trials. I mean, you name it, we were having it. What was the most impressive of the weekend for you?
I'm just gonna be boring and say Lucas Martins out of Germany.
No,
I know it's shocking, right?
Yeah.
That 741 is gas. I mean, I don't think anyone really expected that. And the way he split it too is like I think it was 351, 349. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 51.9. And I didn't really do the math for the second 4. But like to get anywhere near 740 is crazy. I don't think anyone expected to see that happen. Especially I think he was 746 at Tokyo. So I mean, he was dirty in the 400. I mean, everyone knows about that 341, and then to come back and go 741 in the 800. Dude's fast. I mean, the depth is kind of the recurring theme here too, with like NCAAs being as deep as it was. I think Worlds is going to be the same. It's going to be everyone's just going off.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that to me is the most interesting is like Germany's like turned a corner here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they had success like at the Olympics. Florian Wellbrock, won a gold medal in the 10K. He brought home some hardware in the did he win the mile? No, Fink did.
No,
but he
ran him down.
medaled in the mile. Now you got this guy who's his training partner, right? So he's training with him every single day. He went 14:40 last couple weeks ago. And he's got the world leading 200 time. So now, like, he's a 200, 400, 800 mile. Like, the guy, he can swim them all.
Yeah, and I mean, that 800 free, 741, 743, 745. That's a pretty good top 3 there in the 800. But then on the women's side, I mean, she didn't really swim all that fast. But based on where I'm assuming she's at in training, Summer McIntosh is going to be scary at Worlds. I mean, she was like 207 in the 2 fly. She was swimming like 405 in the 400 or something like that. And then, I mean, she's like low 430s in the 400 IM, probably in practice. So, I mean, I think she's probably pretty beaten down. She's going to the meet, obviously. I think she's going to be scary.
It's impressive, too. Like, their coach, Ben Titley, has left, right?
Mm-hmm.
And boom, she didn't like skip a beat. Same thing with Josh Lando. Had him as a coach. Boom, comes in, doesn't skip a beat, breaks 2 Canadian records, takes down Brent Hayden's 50 freestyle record, goes 50.8 in the 100 butterfly. by far, hands down, like best male Canadian swimmer they've had in ages. So I'm sure they're tickled about that.
Yeah, and as a 15, 16-year-old as well. That's what's really impressive. Something like that when I was 15 would have rocked my world, and I would have taken 2 weeks off of swimming. She just rolled right into the pool and just was, right on beat. So, we'll see. The coaching change is never easy. So, world championships will be interesting. But, like I said, 15, 16 years old, she's lights out. It's going to be fun to watch.
Summer was 4:01 in the 400, 2-second PB.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
4:01.
I knew there was one swim where I was like, oh, boy. So, imagine
I just wanted to make
trio.
sure we knew, she's swimming real fast.
Ledecky and McIntosh.
Yeah, well, I think it's a fair call, and she is incredible. I think even Ben has admitted that. Like, look, she's a freak, but you got to give some credit to Ben in terms of the job that he's done and the impact that he can have at a major meet like that. When your back's against the wall and you're up against a Ledecky or a Titmus and these types of people, then Ben is going to be a factor. Whether it be large or small, those great coaches can seem to get the best out of their athletes when they need them the most. So, again, it'll be interesting. I wish her all the best, and obviously she's an incredible talent, so it'll be fun to watch her. I think you guys are overlooking too one special German. I interviewed him yesterday, Rafael Miroslav, who became the first German in history to swim 47 in the 100 freestyle. Now, that was a stat that kind of shocked me a little bit. We haven't had a German swim 47 until a couple of days ago, and he's the first. He's swimming in Indiana, freshman year, just finished his freshman year, and kind of an untapped type of potential of, like, he doesn't even know how good he can be and how he's, like, what I said to him yesterday on the podcast, which we'll release here soon, is that back in 2000 we had Peter Van den Hoogenbaan swim at 47 for the first time, and everyone was like, holy shit, like, what the hell? That's like a whole nother leap forward for our sport. And here we have this kid. I get him on the podcast, and he had no idea how he swam 47. It's just like, oh yeah, that was, I just got up and did it. And it's like how far has the sport progressed where you've just got like 19-year-olds not even knowing how they go 47 anymore? It's just like, everybody's doing it, so why can't I? So it's interesting, that whole, I don't know. That's one of the questions I asked him, is like, why has that evolution happened? Kyle, what's your thoughts on an evolution like that, where kids these days are just getting up and doing swims that we thought were just incredible 20 years ago?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. We were texting about the fact that it seems like everyone goes 21 something, 47 something, and like 146 in the 200 free. I had somebody respond to me because I tweeted, I forget what it was. There were two guys that were, I forget which meet. The top two, I think it was British. It was like 21.7, 21.9. Somebody responded to me and was like, 21.9 is not that good. And I was like, okay, let's take a deep breath here. Just because the sport is imploding doesn't mean that 21.9 isn't good. Especially because I think it was like Ben Proud that went 21.9.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, you need to shut up for a second. But yeah, and we saw it at NCAAs. We're seeing it in age group swimming too, which is the really interesting thing, is people are focusing on how fast NCAAs are, and they're making all these excuses like, we've got fifth years, we've got this, we've got that, but that's not the case. We had one heat at NCSAs, I think, where like 6 girls in the 200 back would have qualified for NCAAs. And then that was the trend throughout the meet. There were a ton of swimmers like top 2, top 3 that would have qualified for what was the deepest NCAAs in history. And so I think really what's happening, it's got to be a training thing, and it's got to be a training thing paired with just the depth of talent that we have in the sport now. Yeah. As it grows, we're just going to get more bodies, more raw athletes into the sport that we can develop in a different way, and then specializing them and really starting to think about like what we're trying to accomplish, I think is a little bit different as well. Yeah. Just because, we're coming from this era where we were just a cardio sport. We were just doing cardio and getting really fit, putting on swimsuits and getting tan and just swimming in a pool. And then now we're like, if I need to go 200 meters and 100 or a minute 45 plus, I need really, really good cardio for 2 minutes, maybe to give me a little bit of a buffer. But that first 8 strokes, that first 20 strokes, that first 40, we're starting to break it down into that kind of a race. Now, when you get into the conversation about Germany, and when we're going up to the 800 and starting to mess around with those records in the 800 and the mile, I don't know. That's just got to be better nutrition, better sleep, better everything. I think we're just smarter and we have more people, to kind of boil it down into one sentence.
Yeah. Sonny, a lot of questions on the vlogs. What's happening here?
Yes, the first Nationals vlog went live like an hour ago, and I'm gonna try and I've just edited another one that's gonna go live tomorrow. So yeah, we should get about 4 vlogs from Nationals. So yeah, they're coming out.
Sweet. There you go. Pump them out.
What did you guys think of British trials, eh? I mean, there was a few standout swims in my mind, like my boy Lewis Burris, another Middle East kid, 21.7 to beat Bennett at 53 and 47.8 in the 100. He's a great lad.
Great celebration.
Really nice to see him. Yeah, oh mate, yeah. Like he's very raw with the celebrations, and he had some pretty formal interviews afterwards. But crazy story about him is he went to two unis in America and just didn't really get on with it. And I remember he messaged me like a year ago, and he was just, like, and he told me, I've messaged everyone. I've messaged James, I've messaged Ian Hume at Loughborough, I've messaged he might even message you, Brett. Like he messaged everyone saying like, what should I do? I want to be good again. And he put himself out there, and he's done a year with Zoe, and he's absolutely killed it. Like it's been brilliant to see.
Well, crazy story about him. I actually recruited him to Auburn, and he turned me down. He gave me the big fat no. So we went hard on him. Myself and Sergio Lopez kind of did a double team. We wanted him. We saw the potential. He had it at a young age. This kid was good. We knew it, and he just brushed us and chose. I forget where he went first.
South Carolina.
Yeah, he went Virginia. He went Virginia with Todd.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he went to UVA.
I went to UVA. Was that UVA first? Okay, and I was
he
like,
lasted,
all right. Yeah, I thought it was like a good decision, but at the time I was kind of just, butthurt. I'm like, damn, he chose somebody else over me. I thought I could do a really good job with this kid. And then he went to a few unis, and you're right, he reached out to me last year, and we kind of went back and forth. We talked, and I'm always open to helping, young kids. And I didn't help him that much, but great conversation with him, and he seems to have found his feet with Zoe, and he's killing it. So good on him. I hope it continues. Like I said to you, Kyle, on Twitter, like it's one thing to do it at the meet, and this is where we get into that Cameron McAvoy kind of situation where you pump a 47 flat out at nationals, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is incredible," and then at the Olympics you go 48.1 or whatever it was, and it's like you can't leave your best swims at nationals, right? And thank God the pool's only 22 degrees in South Africa, because there's no way they could leave their best swims at nationals. So it's like, sometimes it's even better that way, but don't leave this swim, Lewis, at that championship. I saw the celebrations. I saw the post-meet, interviews, and he was getting very deep. And I'm like, this is just a step. This isn't the meet, but, good for you. And I think we're going to watch it, are we?
Yeah. I mean, there's some great footage from the stands that I love to watch.
His stroke rate is his stroke rate is mad.
That is insane.
Yeah, no, wait, because that's Ben Proud in the lead, right?
Oh, it is.
And underneath him is Lewis. And watch him, he just ate his lunch.
Oh.
Boom.
Oh, okay. A little bit of a
This guy's
stroke.
not a great starter. He can swim.
No, he's a little bit like Bruno Fratis, a little flatter on his stroke. Not great off the block either, but
yeah, like
he has
first one up,
straight up.
Literally first one up. But here he goes.
My good
watch him turn it on.
from 10 years old.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, his last 20 meters were ridiculous.
He just held on to his
last
speed.
5 were even better.
He didn't accelerate. He just held his speed better than Ben. Ben kind of slowed down. Interesting. Yeah, Zoe is going out to Western Australia. They're moving out there, so that'll be an interesting move for both of them. I'm not sure. Is it happening before Worlds? I hope not.
It's happening now. Like, so Lewis is in Dubai again. That's where home is for him. And he's going to be 2 weeks in Dubai. So we're going to catch him for the tail end. Hopefully we'll get a session in with him middle next week. And then, he heads to Australia.
So wait a second. He is British though, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's British, but
he grew up swimming in Dubai for Hamilton Aquatics.
Yeah, Ash Morris. So he started at Hamilton when Ash started at Hamilton. So Ash had this brilliant cohort of like 9 and 10-year-olds, including Joe Page, who's a 49 long course freestyler, and a few other boys who have been, great through the years. And Lewis was always the best one, and it was always sad when Lewis stopped swimming because, you can see how much potential he's got to offer, and it was great to see him come back and sort of do that. But yeah, Ash coached him from 10 to 18 until we went to Virginia.
Gotcha.
It's another good one there. That Flynn Southam, 16-year-old. From what I've heard, I haven't seen this guy swim. Has anyone seen him in action? But from what I've heard, he's got a pretty technique, kind of like a Popovich. I'm hearing. Has anyone seen it?
I watched one of his 100 threes last year, and he went 48 split in 24-24. Like he just even split a 48 long course at 15. And I was like, that's not normal, is it?
No. He's got some talent too, this kid, I guess.
We do have another 50 freestyle real quick. This is Josh Leyenda's 50 free. And I just think the cell phone footage is the best.
Is this his fastest in the year now, right?
Yeah, this is 21.63.
That's a better start.
Yeah, that breakout looks it almost looked too strong.
He's crushing this field.
Jesus.
I like his technique better there. He's got nice technique.
Yeah, he's big and
strong.
Look
at the guy named 3 going off.
I love it.
Jesus. The guy named 3 was before the top. Jesus.
He just caught a massive wave and he's all happy about it. Look at him. He's just sitting on his feet.
He got third.
That means he's going to Commonwealth Games, I guess. That's why he's probably happy.
Too right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Who's in the running for new mayor of Sprint City? Oh.
Look at this first stroke, Jiminy. All right, couple swims there.
I'll tell you what, the 50 is getting stacked, in terms of just the heat in the middle. I mean, you've still got, as far as I'm concerned, you've got a couple at the top end who are just there. But, I mean, it's tightening up at that top end, and it's kind of like a bottleneck right now. A lot of kids getting down to that 21.6 range. Pretty impressive.
Yeah. I mean, everybody goes 18.7 now. Everyone goes 21.6 now.
And it's fun to watch. Like we just shared it. We just watched 250 freestyles and it only took 20 seconds. You guys want to watch Lucas Martin's 1440 real quick? We'll just bring it up.
No, we can watch the last 100 though.
Yeah, and get the stopwatch out.
You see those last 50 splits? Firing a little warning shot over at Bobby Fink.
Uh-huh. Well,
26.9 and 27.0. Maybe making him rethink that move a little bit.
The 400 though wasn't anything great on the last 50. It was just the fact that every split was ridiculous. Like I think he dropped 0.2 in the last 50 that 400, but
yeah, he was like 28, 28, 28, and then just like 27, 27 mid, 27 low. Yeah. He swims those races really interestingly. Let me see if I have those splits.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite funny because Craigor obviously will be joining us, and one of Tom's swimmers was in the heat in the lane next to him in lane 2. And Tom was just like, Sonny, I've just seen Craigor get beaten by 10 seconds in a 400 freestyle. And I was like, has Craigor had a stinker? And he's like, no, Craigor's on 350 points, season best. Like, it was a decent swim, PB +4. But the guy next to him was 341. I was like, sorry, what? And everyone was about to go race it in South Africa, and everyone just stopped what they were doing and was like, sorry, someone just went 341. Like
Yeah.
we didn't know what had happened. And
Well,
we'd
and
all seen
that-
it, but
It was also right after that kid went like 345.
yeah, the
Yeah.
16-year-old
The Italian kid.
Yeah, like
Mm.
minutes after. Because I
Mm.
posted about that and immediately got a reply that was like, yo, somebody's went 341. I was like, imagine being that kid. You just drop a bomb and then some dude does something like we didn't think we'd see for years.
If you were in Stockholm this past week, you got to watch some amazing races, especially on the men's side, where, you know, like you said, I think like even in the 800, like the Norwegian kid was there, and obviously Wellbrock he got second. Felix Albach, he's not German, he's Austrian, but he set his national record. He's been coming back on and something faster. So yeah, it was a super fast meet.
Good meet, yeah. Very good meet. Why you got Adam Peaty up here? What are we talking about him for?
Well, I just like, you know, I guess for me, what I wrote in my little newsletter thing was like, this is the year, man. Like, this is the year he's going to get taken out. Like, his streak, everyone's laughing. If there's a year, this is the chance. Yeah, laugh. Dude,
I see your
he
point.
swam the slowest he's swum in forever. And it's because he hadn't been swimming. I mean, he's been doing everything else. He took a bunch of breaks, and I get it. But now he's like, if he's not worried, he's got to be a little bit worried. It ain't like he's doing a 57, like no problemo, boom. You know?
Man, he took the Cal approach at Pac-12s. All right, let's all calm down.
I hope you're right. Well, he's got
Let's
9
all
weeks to
calm
hurry
down.
up.
Didn't shave, didn't rest. Just went and did his Adam Peaty thing.
A
Yeah,
half
come
second
on.
slower in the 50 breaststroke.
Full beard, full beard, like
dudes.
Moses.
He did not have a beard. He can't even throw a beard.
Moses.
He's got a baby face.
I see what you mean. If it's going to happen, it's going to be this year. But I think he has too much time.
The last time somebody won a Worlds that wasn't Adam Peaty in the 100 breaststroke was this Australian dude named Christian Sprenger.
Boom.
So now you got Arno Kaminga, you got Martin Nanghi, the Italian kid who just went like 26-1 in the 50.
Yeah, I have the exact same thought. I think this is his year that he's vulnerable, but it's going to take him swimming slow and somebody really stepping up for him to drop something.
If you go 58-0, you're going to win probably, or you're going to be close. Like, I don't know if like how many people are going to break 58.
All right,
I mean,
listen,
Peaty was really the only guy that could do it.
It's one thing to be ready. It's another thing to do it. You're standing next to Adam Peaty, okay? Who's going to do it? Who's actually going to do it? Who's going to say, I'm the guy today? It's my race today. All right.
Michael Andrew.
I mean, why not? I mean, if I'm going to put money on anyone, I would put it on.
Actually, I'm very bullish on Michael Andrew. 59-0 in season for this guy is fast. That's by far the best breaststroker we've ever had in America. That you can just rip 59-0s unshaved, untapered.
I mean, well, first of all, Michael Andrew is always shaved, and he does swim very well in season. Second of all, you know, Kaminga's been 58.5, I think, at least two times now. He's been 58 mid 2 times. Nicola Martineghi was 58.5 at Italian Nationals, and I presume he's rested because it's Nationals. I mean, there's loads of people coming out though. Even like today, there's the 50 breast finals in Italy. We had Benny Pilato go 29.5, 0.2 off the world record. That's not messing around. But obviously, men's breaststroke, we had a guy I've never heard of go 26.8. Simone something. Never heard of the guy. 26.8 behind Nicolo going 26.4. You know, breaststroke's coming forwards fast. And I wouldn't even be surprised if someone we've never heard of goes 57. Because
that's what I was going to bring up. I think especially at US trials too, there's going to be some sneaky names that just pop up. I mean, we usually have that at Olympic trials. I'm just interested to see what happens with like how close trials are to NCAAs and how that affects people. But I think we're going to have some sneaky names jumping up there.
Well, based off what we've seen, Kyle, you know, the guys that have gone from NCAAs to trials real quick, they're all swimming fast. All of them, you know. So already we've got some people out there that have done it. So I think the US trials is going to be nasty fast. I think it's going to be deep and fast. the pool will play a factor. It'll be interesting to see how they do in Greensboro. That's one factor that has to be taken into account. But yeah, look, I think it's going to be tough to get your name on that board to be part of the U.S. national team this year. It's going to be very competitive. And I think something that is worthy of discussion too, eventually, I'm not sure right now, but we need to discuss when these really good athletes miss out on making the national team, like, a 5,800 breaststroker could not make the team to go to Worlds. What's he doing for the rest of the year? What are these top U.S. athletes doing now that world champs are in June, and then, there's no ISL, there's no nothing beyond that, and they got to wait a whole nother year to do something? I mean,
that's a good point.
It's gonna get. There's a lot of pressure on this meet for people that want to be professional athletes, that want to get paid to swim, that have their own websites and their own logos and their own social media presence. I mean, all of a sudden that goes away real quick when you don't make the national team.
Yeah,
For sure. And actually, I think it was something that you were talking to Emily Seabaum about.
Yeah.
Like there's just America's the most dominant swimming country in the world, always has, always will be.
Mhm.
But we don't have like name a giant awesome meet where like every single international superstar comes to American soil and swims. It doesn't happen very often, if at all.
Yeah, as close as you're gonna get is NCAA's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. Glad we got our Adam Petey Jollies out. All right. University of Michigan. Maggie McNeil. She is going to Cal. And now
Where did I predict? I said she was going somewhere. I said she was going to Virginia. I messed that one up. All right. But I heard she was going somewhere, so I got that right.
That's all right. And now we got Jake Mitchell, American Olympian in the 400 freestyle. He also is transferring to UF to swim under Nesty and swim with that the great distance group. Swim Swam just had a pancakes in practice post where Ledecky was doing 15-100s with Bobby Fink, and dude, she was right there holding 53s from a push. It was amazing to watch. It really was. That being said, like what's going on at Michigan? Are you guys concerned?
I mean,
Stockwell. I'll put you on the spot.
Yeah, I'm concerned for sure. I mean, if you've got, and everyone was talking about Jake at NCAA's because he just didn't swim that well. And then so to see him transfer isn't all that crazy. And then to go down and swim with Ledecky and Bobby and Kieran and all those guys, Florida's looking nice. I mean, they looked great at NCAA's. I think they got overlooked a little bit. I mean, if you can even call it that. I mean, they're 121-1 in the 200 medley relay. Maybe a couple people predicted that. So I mean, Florida, they're looking stout. Michigan, I mean, they're bleeding.
Yeah, I mean, they're losing people. It's hard to recruit there. It's freaking cold.
What's that?
It's cold. It's hard to recruit to cold.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've heard rumors about coaching changes and stuff like that. I don't know if there's any validity to it, but I mean, when you got this many people leaving, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. And I understand people, thinking there might be, coaching shifts going on over there. Because, I mean, it was all within a pretty specific window of time. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It is cold.
Yeah, they didn't swim. They didn't swim well at NCAA's. I mean, I know I saw Patrick Callan come out and he was, doing what he's supposed to do. He's defending his team. He's defending his coaches. He's defending his university, and that's totally fine. I'm down with that. But swimming slow it's really slow. Some of those kids were swimming really slow. So,
yeah.
We'll see if Jake has a better year this year coming up at Florida. But
well, listen, I'm not going to say what Michigan is or isn't. They've obviously done a great job, and they've recruited talent for many years, and they've coached them really well. So in this situation, what I will prefer to say is what Florida is. I mean, Florida is a powerhouse right now. They got numbers, they've got talent, they've got coaches. They got everything you could possibly want in a program, and they are stacked, and they're swimming fast. They're winning championships at NCAAs. They're getting everything, and it'll be interesting to see where they take it. Like they've got the trials coming up, and they've got NCAAs next year, Olympics after that. So it's like it's all happening for Florida. If something's going to happen big for Florida, it's going to happen now. They have everything they could possibly want, and it seems like they're positioning themselves to just be the powerhouse team. So be interesting to see how it all pans out. I mean, good for them. They've definitely got it clicking down there. That's for sure.
Speaking of college coaching changes, we got a bunch. I think Sockwell, I think you dropped you broke the news today on Twitter. Is that right?
Yeah. A couple of different newses, I guess. There's a lot of shifting going on. I got a tip that apparently Dakota Luther is in the transfer portal as a graduate transfer too. And so, I mean, that's not really a coaching thing, but there's just a lot of shifting going on in the NCAA right now. I don't think we've really ever had a off-season, quote unquote, where we've seen this much going on. And I don't even think we're anywhere near the end of it. I think there's going to be a lot more shifting going on. But no, Notre Dame's got a new head coach. Dartmouth does not. And I've heard that Jesse's headed over to Cal. It hasn't been 100% confirmed yet, but it makes sense. And the tips that I've gotten are super legit. So, yeah, there's a lot of shifting going on. The Hawaii coaching position's still open. I mean, I don't know.
Beautiful pool with some beautiful green pace clocks.
Who was at Cal? Who left?
So it hasn't been confirmed yet. But I forget. Hold on one second.
Who was the assistant at Cal under Terry this year?
The assistant coach. I know who it was because I looked it up, but I'm just forgetting.
And then there's a coaching change at UVA. So someone left there.
Danny Corman.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
but I was DMing with a few people after I announced this stuff, and then we just started talking about, how these, some of these head coaching positions, and we're seeing shifts over towards, assistant coaching at larger universities, and then back and forth. And I just started going down a rabbit hole of like the trajectory of a college coach, to get into one of these Power 5 head coaching positions. And it's really interesting to watch, kind of like, or I was thinking about like how I would build the perfect like career. Would I go swim at go coach in my alma mater, get an assistant coaching position at a bigger university or a head coaching position at a smaller university, and then jump back and forth? So, I mean, it's interesting. I think we're going to see 5 or 6 more coaching changes in the next like week or 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Sonny, have you ever thought about coming to America to coach?
I honestly, before I started doing Energy Standard and all this, my biggest dream of coaching would be in college, but I don't have a college degree, so I don't think I can get a job in a college without a degree.
Yeah.
So I think my dream's over.
That is the hiccup. Yeah.
But I think I'm all right. I'm coaching some good guys now, and we've got some good things going on. But yeah, that Hawaii job I say no to.
Yeah. Well, there's some more coaching changes going on, but they're happening near you. Do you want to speak real quick on Jamie and Ian and their new roles?
Yeah. So obviously, we lost one of the Bath National Centre coaches. It was Dave McNulty and Aussie boy Joel Fink, and he went back to Australia earlier this year. So we knew someone was going to have to fill the role. And I spoke to Jamie a little bit during ISL, and I knew he was pretty keen. I know a few other people that are pretty keen as well. But no, Jamie's great. Obviously, he's been coaching at DaVinci for a while now. He's the one who brought Jacob Whittle into the world, who's from 48-2 at 17 last week at British Trials. He also coaches a few other great swimmers. One of his girls, Mia, went, I think, 2 flat for 200 free. She's pretty young still. And also a good friend of mine who was actually in the vlogs last year in Dubai during lockdown was one of his swimmers. So we had a few back and forths about the session she was doing with me there. But no, he's a great coach, and that's really exciting that he's going to be heading up the National Centre down at Bath with McNulty. So, and I think I think they've brought him in quite nicely because he's been working at Loughborough quite a bit, alongside Mel. So I think they've probably brought him into that national centre role quite nicely. And then obviously Ian Wright is now over in Scotland, Scotland national centre coach. He was he Glasgow before Edinburgh? Glasgow. He was Glasgow before, and he actually used to coach down in Hatfield, which is like my home club's rival club. So I remember seeing him on deck quite a bit back in the early 2010s. So yeah, I think it's positive coaching changes all around in the UK as well.
Good stuff. Yeah, I mean they're stacked. I mean they know what they're doing over there. They seem to be figuring it out, and you got some incredible coaches on the deck over there now. So they're very formidable. People, a whole group of coaches that I think are competitive worldwide in terms of the grouping. Like you've got Australian coaches that are grouped up well, American coaches. This seems like a nation of coaches that is just grouped up well to perform at the highest level.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's really good. And British swimming's improving. I mean, we've just talked about fast swimming, so world swimming is going well, and that's definitely down to the level of coaching nowadays.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, what else we got here, Nate?
On the podcast.
On the pod, yeah. Tomorrow. So we're releasing tomorrow. Who are we releasing? Seabaum. Emily Seabaum. Yeah, Emily Seabaum. Yeah, good one. It was a really interesting. After the Olympics, she went basically straight into a situation where she was doing a reality TV show. Within about 10 or 12 days of coming off the Olympics, she went into a lockdown of this reality TV show, and she kind of exposed some things on that show of how, especially one of the things that was big that came out of it was she discussed the amount of money that the top Australian athletes make, and she said it was $30,000. And on this reality show, there was other famous athletes from different sports, and they were like, "What, you make $30,000 to be the world's best swimmer?" They're like, "You're kidding me! Like, we make a couple $100,000, like we make $1 million." And she's like, "I make 30 grand." And so that was like big news that came out of this reality show, that Australian swimmers are paid pretty pathetically for how they're kind of revered in Australia. They're held up as like these gods, especially when they come off the Olympics, and they're making peanuts. So we went into that. We talked about that kind of thing, and we talked about her future and the excitement, and she's got a new training group. She's with Michael Bowl. Everybody seems to be with Michael Bowl right now and swimming fast down in Australia. He's crushing it. Michael Bowl is actually on our app, Sonny. Any question, and you can get on any question and listen to him. So a lot of good stuff coming there. So there's that, and then, like I said, I interviewed Raphael, and then yesterday I did a podcast with Matteo Giunta, is how you pronounce his name, Matteo Giunta. He is getting married to Federica Pellegrini in August. I mean, what a wedding that is going to be, the first lady of Italian swimming right there. I mean, she's a superstar over in Italy. Yeah. So we talked about that, which is exciting. So yeah, there's a couple of podcasts in the works. Good stuff. I don't know. That's about it.
Yeah, I like the Seabaum one. It's interesting because she's been on the national team for like 15 or 16 years or something. She's been there since she was 14. She's 30 now, right? And she talks a little bit about like how it's just really weird. Like all of a sudden now she's the mom of the team, and things have changed. And what was really interesting was like she was explaining how when you're 14, 15, 16, like you just love swimming, you love racing, and it's coming easy to her, and it wasn't no big deal. Then all of a sudden she's got like pressure to like pay bills, and pressure to make the next Olympic team, and pressure to stay on the national team, and how that has just like changed the outlook of like all of her swimming. And what was most amazing, I think, was like she just swam her first swim practice yesterday, or the day before you recorded that podcast, since the Olympics, I think. Isn't that right?
Yeah. She just swam, and she just
took
got
like
back
a massive break.
Yeah. What I loved about her, and I think we hear this a lot with top athletes, the best of the best is what I'm saying, is she talked about not doing it unless she was all in. She wasn't putting a toe in the water to see how she felt. And, I was going to manipulate this workout, and then I had to go to this photo shoot, and she's like, I'm either in or I'm out, like all in. And I think that's pretty cool to hear somebody that's been on the national team for 15 years. And I think we can learn a lot from that, especially, like I said, a lot of US athletes are wanting to be pro, and it's very difficult to year after year make it onto that team. And she's someone that we can certainly learn from. So it's pretty cool. And then there's that. So I don't know. I just appreciate the fact that Kyle, you talked about, I think you've said this on Twitter, and you and I have gone back and forth about this, is like, you're a voice in swimming now. Sonny, you're a voice in swimming now. We are a voice in swimming. There used to be a situation where it was like very little. I mean, you got Pool Buoy on here. I mean, you're a voice in swimming. Come on, mate. Like, so it's like we're a community right here. There we go. There's a voice in swimming. Like, we're a community and we all have our own voice. We don't have to just go to one source anymore. We don't have to rely on a certain other news organization to get our news, right? Like, Kyle is like a legitimate leader in the world of swimming when it comes to
It's like the
Twitter.
Adam Schefter of swimming. Just breaking news.
Well, he had a bad take recently. But
yeah, he did.
I'll take it as a compliment.
I mean, I learned so much from your Twitter. I learned so much from watching Sonny's vlogs. And I mean, it's just like, it's cool that we're our own little community and we're not working against each other. We're all for each other. We're here on this platform trying to pick each other up, trying to lift each other. I'm talking about my podcast, but I'll gladly talk about Kyle's Twitter. I'll gladly talk about Sonny's vlogs. Like, we're all part of the one community. And I think that's the message, is like, it's great that we have a community now. Let's be positive. Let's pick each other up. Sure, there's going to be times where we talk about things that are going to be controversial or uncomfortable, or not everyone's going to agree with, or we might have an opinion that might create some sort of whatever. But like, at the same time, we're all trying to be very positive and pick swimming up. So I think it's a great thing that we're doing here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. The most fun thing that's actually happened to me recently is, like, I don't really break a ton of news, but I got a couple tips. So I broke a couple things. And the Louisville coach moving over to Notre Dame, I had a Louisville swimmer DM me afterwards, and he was like, how the hell did you do that? We just found out about that. And then we started talking just about like how he saw him as a coach. And he was just talking about, couldn't say enough good things about him.
Mm-hmm.
And we just bummed that he was leaving. And I think it's fun for me, selfishly, to be in a position where I can break news and then have swimmers from those programs feel comfortable reaching out and talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, as a major news outlet, you're going to get kids reaching out to you going, man, I love this guy. It's a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see what he does at Notre Dame, and then have that discourse back and forth. So, that's been a cool thing. I don't think I really want to make my thing breaking news.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch the commentary around the sport grow. And so hopefully every year, when we have these big meets, we can keep growing personalities. We can keep adding personalities. I'm with you. The more personalities we have in the space, the more options people have to go grab content, learn about the sport, learn about new names, and then start, becoming fans of those names. I think like the next phase in swimming, I think, is people becoming hardcore fans of specific swimmers. When Phelps was here, everyone was a fan of Phelps. So it was really the first time in swimming where people could just go all in on an athlete, sit there on the edge of their seat, and like wear a shirt with Phelps's face on it. I think, if we have, imagine if we have 10, 15 of those guys, then we've got people that are fans of rivals, and it's like Efimova and King and like all that sort of thing. I think, the more people we get online talking about stuff, talking about who these athletes are, why you should like them, and people really get to attach themselves to them, like Sonny's doing with Leclos. We've got a bunch of people that are getting on that train, and now they're going to watch him differently at Worlds. So, it's all about convincing not even just young swimmers too, former swimmers to latch onto these personalities and like make it a part of their persona. You've got people that are, I'm an Astros fan. That might piss some people off, but you've got people that are Astros fans. That's their persona. If you can make someone a Michael Phelps fan and that's a part of their persona, or, you've got Dressel now, Ledecky, you've got these big names. And so, yeah, I love it. long-winded way of just saying.
Well, my message in all that, Kyle, is you don't have to go to one place to get your news anymore. You don't have to go to one place to be the source of swimming. We got Sonny, we got Kyle, we got the swim nerd here. We got plenty of different options. We got Pool Buoy over in UK. So like lots of places you can go to get quality.
It's Pool Boy. We're in the UK, so they're Pool Boy. We're not Buoy.
Buoy.
Listen,
Pool Boy.
I'm coming live from Delaware.
I got a cowboy hat on.
They're a British source. You know, we've got to respect the Pool Boy.
Pool Boy. All right. Well, then just put OY and just take the U out of it altogether. Come on. I'm confused.
Too. Pool Boy.
Listen, in Australia, it's Pool Boy. And for some reason, the US convinced me that it was a whole new word. And now it's in my vocabulary. I can't even get it out anymore.
They appreciate it. Look, they appreciate me standing up for them in the comments. Too right, Pool Boy.
No. Yeah. All right. Pool Boy. Like I grew up on Pool Boy. So I don't know what I'm saying. I've been Americanized.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I got to run. This has been fun. Another great one.
Great stuff, guys.
Let's get
Good to
Pool
see you
Boy
guys
on here next week. All right.
Hey, sign up for the newsletter. We just put it out in the chat.
Newsletter.
New newsletter.
There we go.
Sign up.
Here we go. Newsletter. Boom. Get on that. Chat it
All
up.
right.
Newsletter.
We'll see you next week.
Get yourself
Cheers,
a
boys.
shirt.